I would now like to ask Stephen Bennett to join me. Stephen, there you are. Stephen, you are a business English teacher, but you're not from England.
No, Stockholm.
Okay,
Just
Stockholm.
Vienna, yeah.
All right, how nice.
Yes,
so,
yes.
So, you have to explain to us what's your involvement, because you are a blogger, and then people who want to go public with their cases come to you. Is that so?
It's a little bit like that.
Why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah, I mean, I was using Facebook a little bit before the Bodnaru case, and then I found out about the Bodnaru case, and I decided to look into it a little bit more and find out, like you said, you know, they must have done something wrong. You know, it's like you don't just take 5 children away for nothing. So I thought I'll do a bit of research and study this area. And so I got in contact with many people in Norway and started increasing my contacts on Facebook. And I started reading other sort of news reports in the past about families. And the more I looked into it and the deeper I got, I realized there's like a pattern going on here. You know, the majority of these people never abused their children at all. There was no sexual abuse, there was no, like Sverre said, physical abuse or drug abuse. You know, the majority of these children that are taken are from parents who are just not seen to be good enough. Like they don't have the parenting skills, or maybe they're considered retarded, mentally unstable, and that is possible, but it's always speculative and it's always very hard to really prove. And so, yeah, I just studied it. I got contacts and lawyers, victims, and other human rights people around the world, and I think I added about 1,500, 600 on in 6 months. And I just wrote about it, and I guess I've written most probably around 50,000 words on this, but on Facebook. But people have put it on blogs as well, so it's actually gone into different places, which is great. Because the thing is, for me, the important thing is this needs to be spoken about. We need to debate it. We need to find out what we can do as being part of humanity. And children are suffering in Norway. And what is happening in Norway is not happening in other countries. Not to this extreme, by a long, long way. And I've just, like I say, I've studied it and I've written, you can go into my Facebook posts, they're all there. And I've just looked at every part of the system. And an important part for me was to connect with victims and to hear their stories and to read their cases, because they sent me their cases as well. I'm not a lawyer, but it's very clear when you read some of these reports and these cases that any child could be taken if they're in the target group. It is possible to take any child out there. If somebody wants to take them, if a neighbour doesn't like you, or there's a racist neighbour, or there's someone that's just got a grudge, a vendetta, just one anonymous report, you don't have to give your name. I could phone up, tell somebody that somebody's doing this, and when Bennett get involved, it starts to get very, very bad for the family.
Doesn't that sound familiar to us here? Now, you know what's very interesting for all of us to see, that in a way you come here as a single activist, right? It's just you. Yeah, and you can get quite a range, an outreach. You have a strong outreach, and you can actually help the people, the children, the families in Norway. And I think that all of us can do this too. You can do it, and we can all do it. And it's very useful to do so. And maybe you can tell us also the social media links where we can find your websites and your Facebook, that we can join in with what you do.
Sure. Well, I mean, my Facebook page is Stephen Bennett, and you can connect with me. And I have hundreds of articles I've written on there, and you can just look at them. And Yeah, I think really it's true. I had no idea really what impact I could have really. I just thought I want to help and that's it. But I realised within 2 months I sort of found some legal stuff on how they take children out there legally by talking about this future neglect. So, you don't have to do anything wrong, but, well, in the future you might do, so we'll take your children. And they use this to take many children. And I actually copied and pasted a lot of this part of it, but it was about the law and how they did it. And that was shared by around about, actually over 1,000 people to date, which means that's most probably reached 250,000 people, maybe more. So, anybody can do this. You can do this from home. You can find out, this information. You do your own research. You don't have to actually listen to me. You can look at what I've written, and then you can make the connections, and you can find out what I'm saying. Is it really true? And I actually ask people to do that. Find out for yourself. Do the research. But what I have found out is really quite frightening. And I just couldn't imagine with my 3 children living in Norway, knowing that one day I could just get a knock on the door. It just breaks my heart. And this is what's happened. My heart is just,
Stephen, what we learned from your case is what we can all do, and what I'm sure that all of us will do from what we've heard today. But also we see the dynamics of social media and how much we can actually create visibility even if mainstream media is not picking it up. And it's a completely new dynamics that it's very important for all of us to have very consciously in our minds. So thank you very much for your work. This is most awesome, and we are all happy to share your blog posts from now on. Thank you, Stephen.